Today we're going to share with you 5 safety tips and to help you become a better motorcycle rider.
I get dirty thoughts about you. They get worse when I'm without you. Does that mean that I'm going to hell? Or are you thinking I'm as well? Oh, I get dirty thoughts about you. They're so strong that I'm about to say them all to you out loud. God can't see.
Welcome back. Stick around with us. At the end of this video, we're going to share with you some safety bonus tips that may help you save your life. This Honda 300L is a great bike for intermediate, experienced riders, but it may not be a bike for everyone. If you're a beginner, a novice, a new rider to motorcycles, maybe you might want to go to another bike. Possibly the CRF 150 is a nice bike. But the 300 is a little bit more power, right, than the 150. And it doesn't really matter what you ride because you're riding a motorcycle. When I was living in California some years ago, I had a fishing buddy named Javier. And we went fishing at Dana Point in California all the time, shark fishing. And when I was over his house one time, I saw a young man in his 20s. He was in a wheelchair. And I said to Javier, who is this guy? And he said, it's my cousin. And I said, he's so young, he's like 20 years old and he's in a wheelchair. What happened? And he told me that he was a motorcycle enthusiast, but his family, his parents wouldn't let him ride motorcycles. So when he got a certain age, he saved up and he bought a 1000cc street bike, but he never had rode motorcycles, no experience. And he went out, it was in San Francisco, California, and the first time he got the bike, he went out, I guess he blew an intersection or something, a car hit him, and he nearly died, and he was paralyzed for life. His first time on a motorcycle. And what that told me is that we kind of got to start slow on a motorcycle. You don't need a 1000cc, maybe not even need the 300cc, but you need something smaller to start off for your safety. A lot of you are experienced riders, and it's okay to have a bigger bike. You probably start off like me with a smaller bike, and you just kept advancing to different motorcycles. So if you're a new rider, it's okay. It's okay to start off with a lower cc. You get the hang of it. Get the hang of using the clutch, of the throttle control. Just get used to riding possibly on the street and experiencing what it's like to ride on the street. It takes lots of experience to be a good street rider. So if you start with a smaller bike, it's okay. Tip number 2 is know your motorcycle. If you buy even a brand new motorcycle and you've never ridden it, take time. Take time to get to know your motorcycle. Every motorcycle is kind of different, right? So when you get a bike, just go take it easy and just learn how to ride the bike. Then you can continue to advance in that skill of the bike once you get to know it. I remember when I bought this Honda a few months ago, when I left the parking lot of the dealers, I was not going to do any wheelies. I was taking it slow. I was like, this is a new bike and got to get the hang of this. Tip number 3, there's 4 elements to riding a motorcycle: starting, stopping, turning, and shifting. And one of the important parts is stopping, is using the brakes, the front brakes. Now the front brakes of the motorcycle, most motorcycles, we use like 85% of the time, maybe 90%. To be honest with you, I don't use the rear brake hardly at all. I'm always on that front brake. So you get used to that front brake. It's very important, and we have to know how to use it. When you're riding and you're using that front brake and you hear like a scratching noise, like a metal hitting the metal, that means the pad is worn out. And immediately we need to go and change that pad, whether we do it ourselves or we take it to a motorcycle shop. Change that pad. Tip number 4 is that we need to learn how to ride the motorcycle and the turns, right? We need to know exactly how to ride that so we don't crash. It's very important that we learn how to do the braking. Now, when you're going into the turns, we don't want to accelerate the throttle. Usually when I ride in the turns, I let off the gas and then I'm able to feather that brake if I need to. But don't hit the brake hard. Don't smash it hard. Don't give it gas hard. When you're in the turns, just let off the gas. Feather that brake slowly when you need to. I usually like to hit the line a little bit on the outside, come on in, and then if there's a car coming around the turn, I kind of drift on the outside. You don't want to be on the inside with a car coming at you, especially the blind turn. You don't want that. But when you're in the turn, do not give it gas and do not hit that brake hard, because why? Because you're going to crash. Also, the body position is very important when you're in the turns. You don't want to be leaning forward with your hands on the handlebars, putting all your weight up front. I usually sit like in the middle of the bike and I lean my bike slightly, but I make sure that I have a lot of the tread of the tire on the surface. I don't want to lean over so far that maybe I fall. We don't want to fall. And so just lean the bike a little bit over. Make sure there's lots of tread on the road and you're going to be safe. Also, watch for debris, possibly rocks or sand on the road. When you see things like that, you want to be on high alert. Why? Because if you're riding in those things like that, you may fall, and we don't want to fall. So watch ahead of ourselves and be alert of the surroundings on the road. I have a good buddy named Romy, and he's a good motorcycle rider. And he took his wife to Iloilo one time. He was riding in the street, and he's kind of a wild rider. He rides real hard. He's a good rider, but he rides a little crazy. And he had his wife on the back, and he was over in Banga or Baliti, and he was turning really sharp turns, and he didn't see the rocks and the gravel in the street. And he slid out. He crashed because he was leaning really far, like we just talked about. And his wife broke her hip, and he smashed his leg up. They were handicapped for several months. She had operations on her hip. So the point of the story is when you're riding, just take it easy, calm down. You don't have to be like a road racer when you're riding on the street. Just take it easy, ride safe. Tip number 5 is ride to the level of your experience. If you're a new rider, just take it easy, ride calm. And if you're an intermediate or professional rider, advanced rider, you can ride it a little harder. If you're riding with a group and you're a new rider, just go slower. If their group is riding faster, don't try to be something you're not. Bonus tip number 1 is you want to ride for safety as far as the cars. You want to pretend like the cars can't see you. On the 300L, the front lights go on and the blinker lights go on. And so you think that the cars can see you. However, car riders, you got to believe that they're not going to see you. So you have to be alert of the cars in front of you, the cars behind you, the cars to the side of you, both directions. You gotta watch the road. You gotta see what's happening. Maybe there's an animal that goes out in the street. You gotta watch for them. You gotta watch everybody when you're riding a motorcycle. So you have to focus on the street. You have to focus on the road, what's in front of you. Don't look at the people. Sometimes I'm riding and people say, "Oh, didn't you see me?" I'm like, no, I'm focused on the street. Because motorcycles are dangerous. You know, they can kill you. Even last night where I live, I just got done talking to a police officer and somebody died. He was drunk riding a motorcycle, like another one that I have. And I saw the motorcycle and he was driving drunk with no helmet. You gotta wear your helmet. And he hit a light post and he died. Bonus tip number 3 is you gotta watch if there's motorcycles in front of you. You gotta watch, because a lot of times, like today, I was riding and somebody left their blinker on. And I didn't know what that rider was doing. There's one rider right there. And he was turning right and his blinker said he was turning left. So I didn't follow his blinker, because I would have passed him on the right-hand side and we would have crashed. The next bonus tip is check your rear tire and make sure there's plenty of tread. Also, the air pressure is good. Have fun and be safe. Motorcycles are meant to be fun. You know, they're dangerous, but they're meant to be fun. Enjoy yourself. enjoy your ride on your motorcycle, and always be cautious and be careful and have a good time. And we're gonna see you next time.